and you can quote this on me. There is no way the Orioles or Red Sox make the playoffs this season. Yeah, yeah. There's no way. There's no way.
I set the bar really low at the NBA predictions.
I don't think all Mavs fans look into the stats like I do.
It's not the great value Target brand toilet paper or whatever. It's the Charmin Ultra Strong.
I don't know if Nick Nurse is the coach for the Raptors. I don't know if he's the reason why they won the 2019 championship. I feel like that was more of a team effort.
The Mavs cannot say we do not miss Seth Curry shooting threes.
This questions the firing of Dwayne Casey, who I think is a very underrated coach.
To me, the Capitals really pushed all their chips for this season.
Hello, I'm Mike Grimes, and you've been listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin. I'm joined by the man that I never thought this would happen. Jimmy Butler and the Heat. That's debatable about. It's looking to be a messy divorce right now, Austin.
I mean, extremely messy. Butler's missing team flights. He's missing team practices. And there's definitely some venom being spit from both sides. We do assume eventually he will be traded this year because I don't think you can have this type of locker room presence around you and still, I mean, they're still competing for a playoff spot and they're still winning some games. So it's not like the team is completely falling apart around him, but this just mimics a lot of what happened in Minnesota. Well, Butler is definitely an extremely talented basketball player. He's prone to drama. He's had it a lot of times in his career. I mean, immediately I think of the practices where apparently in Minnesota he would do the runs with the bench and the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would run against the Jimmy and the next, I guess, 7, 8, 9, 10. And he would consistently beat them. And so he called all Andrew Wiggins and Cat soft and all this, all that. Also, there's a thing with the 76ers about how you chose Tobias Harris over me. The 76ers paid Tobias Harris over Jimmy. And while, yes, for a team aspect, it's definitely not. But Jimmy's had a lot of drama around him in his career, and it's not changing now. I'm sure in a couple of years from now, Miami fans and Jimmy will look back at his tenure in Miami and think that was a great, great time. But right now, neither of the sides feel that way. And we have to wonder where he's going to move to.
Yeah, and this is kind of like you talked about that drama previously. I think the biggest was Minnesota and kind of that, just like he's running with the bench and beating the stars of the team and just wanting to get out. And then it seemed like he settled down and found the place he wanted, which was Miami. But I do think Miami, while Miami did have superstars, it's Pat Riley has run the show as the GM, basically. And you're kind of seeing that clash because Pat Riley, of course, has been in the game for a while, not only as a GM, but as a coach with the Lakers. But you're kind of seeing like we're not giving into these demands, which kind of goes into the messiness of it, where Minnesota was like, yeah, we're trading Jimmy Butler. The Heat, they're kind of like an old school mentality of work hard. Like guys will leave, but it's nothing like this before. And so, yeah, it's getting messy. And yeah, like you said, they're competing for a spot. They're the 6th seed right now in the East. And it's very interesting. And Jimmy Butler hasn't done great in the regular season, but it's been the postseason, especially with the Heat, where he's made his name and kind of reputation. But the question is, where does he go? Because it's not just, these were the wrong places. It looks like there's going to be a time when he's going to want out.
He said that he wants to retire with whoever he gets traded to. And I did find it funny. The one team that he said he did not want to be traded to was the Grizzlies. That's his only, don't send me to the Grizzlies. Anyone else I'm fine with, which I find funny. But I don't know if he's actually going to follow through with what he said, that he's going to retire wherever he ends up, because he's still a star level player. While he doesn't play like an all-star in the regular season, in the postseason he turns into a superstar. And It's going to rub he's going to rub some players the wrong way. And that's just how he is. He's a very abrasive personality. And whether it's just how long can you withstand that? I think of it more as like a coach. Bill Belichick isn't the right example necessarily, but he's like that type where if you don't get along with him, you will never get along with him. It's not a personality that will grow on someone. If you don't like him, you're never going to like him sort of situation. And we'll have to see where he goes. But I do think it's going to be a 3-4 team trade to get facilitated because of his contract.
Yeah, talking about his contract, his cap hit right now is $48 million. This year, then next year, or I'm looking at Spot Track. It says player, so I guess he has a player option for next year, which is at $52 million. Then he's a free agent at $37 million. And kind of talking about that on the other side, I remember I talked about it here when I was not a fan of the Kyrie trade, just given that he was viewed as a locker room cancer, and we haven't seen anything from Dallas yet.
Yeah, but again, it's kind of like the Jimmy Butler situation where it seems like it's a lot of road color glasses at the beginning, a lot of it's peachy at the beginning, and then it turns into something worse at the end. But we don't know if it's actually how it's going to turn out here with Jimmy or with Kyrie. Or you always think it's not going to happen because it looks so good. That's what I thought with Miami. I thought he just finished a career with Miami because of how he seemed happy with Pat Riley and the organization and the way they were moving. But again, he can never truly have a happy ending, it feels like.
Yeah, it just becomes discontent because and we'll have to see what happens to Kyrie, but you can still be productive, but it's just kind of making a living, and I think that is affecting his draft stock because it's kind of looking at teams. Okay, not only do you have to
trade stock, right?
Yeah, trade stock.
You said draft stock.
Oh, oops, sorry. I'm thinking.
Well, we're like a decade and a half away from, not a half. We're like 11 years away from that.
Yeah. I was thinking of NFL draft. But yeah, no, trade stock, and it's $48 million. So not only do you have that hoop, it's okay. Who do we give up for him? Because he may just become discontent. Because you got to look at Philadelphia, what they gave up for him.
Yeah, they gave up a lot, and then they ended up losing him in free agency. So they didn't get much in return at all, except for that playoff run where they made it to the second round and lost in Game 7 to the Kawhi shot. So it's I don't know. And like you said, I would be hesitant to try to add him to this team. And he says he's going to end his career with the next club, and I have to see it to believe it. It's definitely that sort of situation.
Yeah, it's kind of say whatever. And I thought he said I would love to stay in Miami and all that, but I don't remember exactly. But kind of looking at what teams he could to, it was rumored like Warriors or something. But to me, with the Warriors, they kind of have their thing set with Draymond. Like Draymond works with the Warriors. I don't know if Draymond and Jimmy Butler could work together.
Well, we saw what happened with Jordan Poole, and I don't even think Jordan Poole is to the extent of a Jimmy Butler. So it's definitely going to be they have to talk a lot of things through before they actually started to play together for that to work. I can see the Clippers. I just are a team that is still desperate to make a move. They're the 6th seed in the West, so it would be a very lateral move, 6th seed to 6th seed. And the Clippers aren't that far behind me. They're 2 games behind the Nuggets at 4. They're 1 game behind the Lakers at 5. So they're still definitely competing, and they could make some noise in the playoffs, especially if they added a Butler. And I could just imagine if the Kawhi is healthy come playoff time, that a Butler Kawhi wing defenders would be extremely, extremely talented.
Yeah, and it kind of goes to fill it's not really a need, but I think it's something they miss with Paul George because they let him go of, hey, we have Paul George, and when they had him, and they like that with Kawhi and Paul George, so you kind of get that with Jimmy Butler. But I would say with Jimmy Butler, we talk about his postseason. If Kawhi goes down, you could still do pretty well with Jimmy Butler. I would trust him more in the playoffs than Paul George.
That's right now where I'm leaning towards. Is there anyone that you are? We'll do an NBA trade prediction. We can do one here for Jimmy as well. I'm leaning towards the Clippers.
I like the Clippers. It's hard to tell because it just kind of seems his place has come out of nowhere. I'm gonna say I'll do the dumb one, but I'll go Suns.
I just feel like I don't know if that's actually gonna. They have to get a lot to work.
I know, but if it's gonna work, and I mean just work from a trade perspective, I feel like the Suns would do it with their new owner, but it's really tough. But yeah, I think we are both in agreement he gets traded.
Oh, 100%. I definitely think he gets traded. I find it really hard to believe that he does not get traded.
Yeah, and it's just going to see what the Heat get as well because they want to remain competitive.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're still in the seed without him playing in a lot of games. I do find it extremely intriguing to see where he will go because I think wherever he goes, I don't want to say title contender. I don't think that's the right word to say, but their chances of playing better in the playoffs are definitely increased by having him, even if he is I would say, decent at best regular season player, especially for the star that he supposedly is. By the time that there's playoffs, he is just a much better player.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of saying it. And but yeah, it's just kind of this baggage of what he is as a player. But yeah, I'm very interested in what teams would do that. And I am curious with the Grizzlies why he doesn't want to go there because they are, I know, are top of the West, and that would be a team where they were linked to Draymond, and so we can see that kind of taking a risky player, but we'll have to see.
I have also seen the potential of Dallas, right? I did hear about that some.
Yeah, I think people have talked about Dallas. I hope that doesn't happen. Just because I feel like Dallas has a lot. Of course, not this season as they are struggling. It's weird. Well, just because of the injuries, but to me, I wouldn't like giving up a lot of those guys because I thought, one of our friends sent me a dumb trade. He and I agreed it was dumb. It was like give up PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford. If I'm Dallas, I look for the future, but I would not trade Daniel Gafford or PJ Washington. I don't know why people are turning against Daniel Gafford. People were complaining about like trade him. I feel like Daniel Gafford is a really nice player. But Dallas I think has kind of reached that point where they get linked to players. They were of course linked to Kyrie, but that worked, and then Klay Thompson. So we'll have to see. Another team that I'm interested in is the Rockets.
The Rockets GM said that they were going to stay pat. And if I were them, I would. They have so many young, talented players. I wouldn't get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. But I don't really know. We'll have to see though, and we'll keep you updated. I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know who you think that Jimmy Butler will go to, and if at all he'll get traded. We definitely think he will. It'll be tough for him to stay, but it's technically not impossible. Thank you guys for listening.